Jerry's cat left before we could get like a meeting of the cats going on here. His cat appears to
Oh,
have
you're
jumped.
recording.
I clicked start recording because I wanted to do the cat thing. I wanted to do,
Oh,
look at our cats. It's the beginning of the podcast. Look at our cats. But no, your cat completely vacated the scene. So now this bit has no meaning whatsoever. It's just an absolutely meaningless cold open for no purpose at all. And speaking of
I made
things
it
that
worse.
are, yeah, you made it worse. Speaking of things that are absolutely meaningless and totally purposeless, how has your grinding gone recently in really either of the games that we could talk about here?
Either of the games?
Well, Snap, Magic, accelerating your ability to learn how to cheat. Really any of the many topics we cover.
Oh, I didn't know if we were talking about Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics Ogre, little triangle strategy. Triangle strategy. I dabbled in that one again.
No. I meant card games. I meant card games and the metagames of cheating within them.
There are some really bad tactics card games.
Why is it so hard to make a good tactics card game? Because you'd think it would be a relatively easier thing to do. Like, there's a lot of shared principles here, and I've just never played, like, I don't know if there's a Final Fantasy card game. I'm sure it exists, and I'm sure it's terrible, and the numbers are really big.
Dog, I have hella cards right over here, if you want me to get
Magic the Gathering, the
Actually,
Final Fantasy card game.
No. Literal Final Fantasy TCG. Their card stock is actually beautiful.
Okay.
I'm gonna
that being like the first thing you say when I ask if it's good does not encourage me to think that it is a good card game. Oh yeah, dude, their card stock is great. What about the game? Well, we're not going to talk about that.
Who's your favorite Final Fantasy character?
Delita?
Oh shit, I can find a Delita. Give me time. Give me time. All right, check this.
Sure. Okay.
Boom.
Yeah, it says Final Fantasy on the back. I see it.
That's a clean back, right?
Yeah.
And it's also like pretty thick.
Yeah. Thick back.
And this is, I don't know what the shit that is.
I don't either. That seems like your average thing from a Final Fantasy game. That's like the kind of thing that, like, if you were in the 90s and you were a parent, you'd see that and you'd be like, my kid's gonna grow up to like not have a job. And then they would be right.
And here I am.
Yeah.
It is from Theater Rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, you'd see those words. You'd see, my kid is playing a game called Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm. And you'd be like, well, I need to start looking into old folks' homes for myself because they're not going to pay for me when I need that.
Second card is from Tactics.
Yeah, a ghoul.
You can tell because of the art style, right?
Mm.
Oh, we got Tonberries. Like Jerry's over here. And then, it didn't take long till we found a swastika.
Dude, someone commented, like, I never noticed it before you brought it up, but you brought it up so many times. And I think they're implying that I'm racist for noticing it. Which, I mean, you got my ass. That's...
I was here just trying to talk about Marvel Snap, but you know what really caught my eye is that swastika, and I just want to talk about it.
Yeah. I do actually want to talk a little bit about Marvel Snap because the developments of the metagame have been lightning fast. And really, what I enjoy about Marvel Snap is a lot of what happens metagame-wise feels like it makes sense. So the rise of Supergiant after... Did you freeze, or is that just you literally staring at a card?
I'm going through cards. I'm looking for Delita.
Sure.
I'm looking for your boy.
Yeah, my boy. But yeah, so the rise of Supergiants with respect to Invisible Woman First Steps and Jocasta. And you know what's weird is I feel like we lived through this already. I feel like when Invisible Woman First Steps came out, everyone started doing Prodigy things until people started playing stuff that countered the Prodigy things because it's a little easier to counter that than it is to counter a normal mid-range deck. And then we cycled into a metagame that was sort of defined by small ball Invisible Woman First Steps, the Thing First Steps types deck and all of that. And it feels like we just speed ran that in the last week and a half, where we have right now Jocasta, Invisible Woman First Steps. It's a good deck. Everyone is prepared for it, so that makes it a bad deck. And they're prepared for it by playing Supergiant. Supergiant takes a huge dump on it, right? They're prepared for it by playing Cosmic Ghost Rider. And then what beats a Supergiant deck? Well, any deck that like has early game scalers that can actually scale those cards in the early game. So you see a Sam Wilson Craven Batroc deck winning Golden Gauntlet because it has Cosmic Ghost Rider to answer the Invisible One First Steps deck, and then its whole game plan is just, I have bigger numbers than your Supergiant deck, and that happens very consistently, and so you end up with a metagame that I swear to God, it's like I'm watching a repeat. I've seen this exact thing happen when Invisible Woman does stuff.
You're getting deja vu where you're like, I don't know if I've seen this episode or not. I'm pretty sure I have. Some of it's familiar, but like, maybe I went to the bathroom during this part. This is kind of unfamiliar.
Some details are slightly different, but I've seen this episode before. And I think that like that kind of stuff, it's really cool to watch play out in a tournament, especially because like a lot of the high level players were like, oh, you know, Supergiant Sauron, that's probably going to be the best deck. And it probably was. But the person who won took a deck that beat that deck. Meanwhile, players outside of that bubble weren't even on the radar. People were like, what the hell is this Sauron deck? Why is it even good? And they didn't understand that it was a Supergiant deck that was supposed to beat combo decks. So like I saw people in my Discord being like, well, it must be that it's like a consistent point output decks and the combo decks are unreliable. No, it's a combo deck farmer because that's what Supergiant does. And
yeah,
that's sort of a really interesting dynamic to watch, because I think if you had to pick what the best deck of the tournament was, it wasn't the deck that won. It was probably Supergiant Sauron. And the deck that won was just built to beat the winner's metagame. And I guess I just kind of wanted to get your perspective on winners and losers metagames, assuming you have dug through your thing long enough to either find Delita or get bored thanks to ADHD.
Well, I'm definitely not bored. I'm just like still digging and like, damn man, these cards kind of like look nice, and I'm like, why did I put this down? Like I have a bunch of cards. Why did I stop? And it was like, oh yeah, no one would play with me. That's what it was.
Yeah, the game must be amazing, you know?
No, it wasn't even that. It was just like my options were, so like there were a couple of friends locally who got into it, and then so naturally I bought everything because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
And one of the lessons I've learned in life, I've learned but have not accepted, is that like everything good ends.
Okay.
And so when things end, I still get frustrated. But I'm like, wait, I knew this, right? But it still happened, and I'm still sad. So now I'm left holding the bag, where this bag is a lot of like really pretty cards, but like now I'm kind of tempted to get back into it.
The one thing I was positive about when you mentioned a Final Fantasy card game was that the numbers on it were going to be like in the thousands. Like there was no way that it would be a Magic scale of like 1 to 20 or so. It's going to be like, yeah, there's that 6,000. It's like, it has to be numbers in the thousands. I have never, and I'm serious when I say this, I've never played a good card game where the numbers are in the thousands. I've not. Like,
fuck you, Kaijudo. What's up?
I've never played Kaijudo.
I'll play you for hundos.
I bet you would. Does that scale differently when the numbers are thousands? Is a hundo just a lot smaller? Is it like $1?
All right. Really, really, really adorable Kaijudo fact. So combat is not sticky damage. It's just like if I attack and you block, we compare numbers. And if they are tied, they both die. If mine is bigger, yours dies. Okay. Right? So a cute way to do first strike in this game is by giving something 500 power if everything is in the multiples of 1,000.
Yeah, so it's the 1.5 power. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so white was the color that had the 500s. And it also meant that it got a 1-drop that was just a 500.
Okay. So it was a 0 power first striker?
The point is that like you had 5 life. And so anything that hit you dealt 1 damage. So it effectively had no power. It was like an Ornithopter, but could actually damage them. Right.
Okay. It was Memnite. I'm with you. All right.
Anyway, Supergiant. Supergiant's a pain in the ass.
Sure.
And
let's go there.
F that card. I should probably just play with it more. I don't know. It feels like I bounce around a lot, which you could maybe tell by just like the last 10 minutes of this podcast in terms of like,
I mean, I don't think there were any real signals as to your personality and your attachment style based on the last 10 minutes of you talking.
Yeah, thank God there are quests to give me some direction, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I am way off this play Colonel America bullshit or whatever, but it's telling me I got to win 2 more games, right? Yeah. So what am I supposed to do?
You're supposed to play Colonel America for 6 more games so you can win 2 of them.
That dude, are you spying on me? What's going on?
I was like, am I being a little generous? But no, I mean, yes. I mean, I am spying on you. You live in my basement. I'd be stupid not to put cameras in my basement / cloning laboratory.
Okay, we're in the red cards. There got to be some deletas around here somewhere. Nope, I lied.
Yep, well, owned once again in the arena of ideas. Supergiant's a weird deck to have be the best deck, though. Because it's like just sort of fundamentally a hard deck to play because of the various ways in which you can get priority. Like, just baseline. I think a lot of people don't understand what the idea of the deck is to do and how setting up for priority on turn 4 matters to everything else. Because there are certain situations and certain matchups where you want priority and a couple of others where you really don't. Like if you're playing against a Supergiant deck with your Supergiant deck, a lot of the time I think you don't want priority going into the Supergiant turn so that your Negasonic will reveal last and blow up their big 5-drop that they played under the Supergiant, right? Like, both of the Supergiant decks are playing. It's a Darkhawk, it's a Red Skull. So you don't want priority so you can Negasonic that card. And that kind of stuff, but like maybe you do want priority so you can Negasonic their Negasonic or whatever is going on there, right? Like, there's just kind of a lot going on in terms of how you manage priority and these like very specific little intricate things that happen. And I think that that's just a really weird deck to have be the best deck. It's very rare that a deck that has that level of skill curve is the best deck, and it doesn't really look like it has that level of skill curve. But even baseline, right? Like there's you turn 4 Supergiant in every matchup except for one, but that one matchup is the reason you're playing Supergiant in the first place. So like, there's just a bunch of weird stuff going on with the deck.
It is weird. And also, I don't know, I kind of hesitate to refer to it as like the best deck. Like I think it is the best deck right now, but I don't know that it is necessarily best deck in a vacuum kind of thing, right? And you talked about like skill curves for things that are the best, but I do think that inherently that does happen a decent amount of the time where it's like, you know, Cawblade is maybe a difficult deck to play in Magic or something. And it makes sense that the better players are going to both do well with it, but also get more out of it each game. And you've talked about like move bounce at the highest echelon of the game, right? And I do feel like, you know, if a deck rewards skill expression, then that is going to translate into equity and like cube equity and stuff like that, right?
Well, I think that thing with this is it's a different type of skill expression. This Supergiant is the closest, I think, in terms of the skills that it tests to Loki, where you're doing something that is baseline powerful, but whether or not you even want to do it depends on a bunch of contextual things in every game you play. And that means that you are like, it's stretching muscles that most players don't even really think about. Whereas like move bounce is stretching technical skill. That one makes a little more sense. But like this one is just stretching like you have to kind of actively think about matchups when you play the deck. And that's like, I think Loki's the last deck that made me feel that way.
You think it's more micro versus macro?
Yeah. Move bounce is a very micro deck, especially now when Human Torch is getting the size that it is. It's just like in the macro, I'm making some big ass numbers. Like, what's up? The micro is what's awkward about it now, because it used to be stressing micro and macro a pretty big amount because of the way people would do like Invisible and Killmonger, blow up your Human Torch, that kind of stuff. You don't really worry about that stuff anymore. Like, it's not really like a concern because it won't blow up your Human Torch, so you're chilling. And it ends up being like a much more stressful micro deck than macro deck, where previously I think it was probably stressing both. But even at its peak, I don't think it ever stressed the macro in the way that something like Loki or Supergiant does.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, it feels to me like Supergiant in a lot of ways is a thing where you can kind of have it mapped out, I suppose. Like you just do the preemptive stuff where you learn how to play each matchup and like the things that are important, and then you just kind of go through the motions in the games, and there's not a lot of
deviation.
Not a lot of deviation, not a lot of curveballs that get thrown at you or whatever. You just kind of do your thing. And I think that in that sense, it is a fairly good thing to have be one of like the stronger decks. It's just all you got to do is like practice a bit or like watch someone play it or explain it to you.
Yeah, I do think it's one of those decks that like once you grasp a couple of basic things about it, like, you know, turn 5 Supergiant against end of turn decks if you want to really mess them up. Turn 4 Supergiant against board-based combo decks, and like understand what the deck is doing, right? Because one complaint I've noticed a lot from like more enfranchised players is that there seems to be a pretty decent amount of current Marvel Snap where it's like setting up Voltrons that involve copying your strong cards, right?
Yep.
There are just a lot of good decks that are about like, I play a Human Torch, it goes to 24 power, I figure the Human Torch, or like, I play an Invisible Woman, I Prodigy the Invisible Woman, I play a Victoria hand, I figure the Victoria hand, I Moon Girl my hand with the Victoria hand in it. Like, just a lot of, I play the Hood, I Misery the Hood. Like, there's just kind of a lot of multiplicative factors. And one thing that is unique about those multiplicative factors, I play the Dakin, I Grandmaster the Dakin, I Frigga, that kind of crap, right? Like, they all kind of need turn 5 to happen in order to do that. They need their turn 5. It matters a lot for them. And I think those kind of combo decks are sort of inherently more healthy than like a hand-based combo deck like Hela, where it's just like, you can't interact with what I'm doing on the board. You can't do anything about it. It's just like in my hand and in the discard pile and all that stuff, right? So the reason they're healthy is largely the reason why Supergiant is working against them. Is because you can interact with them. It's because you can Cosmic Ghost Rider them, you can Lady Death Strike them, you can Supergiant them. That is what makes them healthy, even if their numbers are big. Which I think brings me to, what the hell is... I don't want to be too mean, because I understand that there was probably a very good reason for this. That was probably related to VFX and probably related to ongoing abilities and how they always crash the game. But it is insane how ass Ghost is. Like, it's just like, we have all of these great things to deal with these decks, and Ghost is just like mega terrible because it deals only with a subset of these decks, and it also doesn't even do that. So it's like, we're in an end of turn meta. What are the tech cards you're playing? And Ghost is like at the bottom of the list. It's awk. It's and I understand, you know, if you're doing like a, ooh, we're worried about this, let's put a tech card in the game for it. You definitely can't make that tech card have new VFX and have an ongoing effect, because you will crash the game whenever someone plays a Mysterio, presumably. So you can't do that on 2 weeks' notice.
No. Can we delete Mysterio yet?
I don't know, man. I play a lot of Mysterio. I love the card. I think he's awesome. I wish he didn't work exactly that way, but I want them to keep the thing where he could like distribute his buffs. I think that's sick as hell.
Yeah. I think they shot the moon with that one. I don't know.
What do you mean by that?
Just like they wanted the card to be implemented this way.
Yeah.
And they figured out a way to do it. Okay. And then it was just, they're like, oh, like, cool, we did it. But like, it wasn't like a card you needed to have. And so there were just like all these other implications where it was just like, well, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there kind of thing.
Okay, but like, here's the thing. At this point, like, I already have it. And if you take it away from me, I will start a riot.
Yes, I understand. But it's I guess they asked if they could do it and not if they should do it kind of thing.
Sure. And I think they need to ask the same question about changing him in any way, which is to say, don't you dare. Don't you dare take away my good green goat. That's my goat right there.
Goats.
Yeah, goats. Well, there's really only one, but you'll never be able to be sure, right? So it's one guy. You just like he just looks like three guys, you know?
I guess, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're not wrong, but you're not right either.
Well, that's the magic of Mysterio, baby. But yeah, like I just wanted to give some slops to Ghost. I wanted to stop the whole podcast to give slops to Ghost. Cause like I know they're not stupid. I know they know that an ongoing version of that effect is what you'd actually need for it to be reasonable. I know they know that. They're not dumb. And I respect them just being like, well, we definitely can't actually do that. So we're gonna just make the really bad version of this. It's like I talked to Matt Place about Quicksilver, and the way he referred to Quicksilver was like it's solving a problem by providing a potential solution, but in practice is not actually solving that problem in 99% of cases. And it doesn't matter because the potential solution exists and that makes people feel better anyway. And I genuinely think that's what the move here with Ghost was. It's just like people.
No, I think so too.
Yeah. It's,
like you just give people the tools so that it feels like they have agency, right? Even if you play with the tool. And I mean, it is less good to do that, I think, with 2 years into the game or whatever, and it's like, here's a series 5 or a season pass card that we're selling you, and then for it to disappoint people. But like for a card that is in the game, it's like, oh yeah, don't worry, like we got a card for that.
It just turns out that card is actually named Super Giants and not Ghost.
Yeah, for real. Can I give slops to a card / character real quick?
Yeah, sure. Dysadarg. Ah, yes. That's Dysadarg Beowulf right there. He's a dick.
He is a giant douche.
He
also,
he
the voice acting just calls him Dysadarg.
Really?
Yeah. I was very surprised by that.
I have always read it as Dysadarg.
Same.
Okay. Well, that's on me, I suppose.
Props, though.
Is that I can't see who it is. Mustadio. Yes.
Why? It's the lights.
It's whatever, man. I appreciate that they have representation for dudes with terrible haircuts in there. As someone with a terrible haircut, I appreciate it. You mean what?
His hair is dope.
Also, I feel like you should know your mic is cutting out the what's. Like, you got too loud for your own microphone because of how shocked you were that I said his hair was mid. His hair is mid. I know because I have that hair.
His hair's so sick. Mysterio is your goat. Mustadio is my goat.
Wow, there's a real theme going on.
I'm sad that there's only one of him.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of MEO kind of thing happening here with us. We need to see if anything else fits that naming convention, I think.
Dude, where is Delita? I realized
last I checked, getting stabbed.
Yeah. No, for real, he does that.
That's the last time I checked in.
I didn't have my cards sorted very well, but certainly I haven't looked at them in 6 years.
Yeah.
So
sure. Why not?
Also, I think that there's an Earth Delita. I think there's an Earth one and a Fire one, but
I'm going to guess that they just ripped off Magic and Earth is green and Fire is red. Yeah, that says Dragon.
As foil.
Why does the Dragon cost less than Mustadio?
So their monsters are like weirdo enchantments or something.
Okay. Oh, it's like a totally different card type.
Yeah, because they have so many just name characters and even just like random foot soldiers and shit. A lot of the generic job classes, it was just like summoner or whatever. That's probably a land.
Okay.
And then the legendary creatures are like the actual creatures in the game, the people that attack and block, and there's a bunch of different versions of them.
Gotcha.
And then monsters they introduce in like set 3 or 4.
Dude, I just got murdered by my cat. I tried to put her down and she was like no.
Nope.
And then like clawed in just to sit here and look at me like I'm a jerk. Okay.
Yeah. How dare you?
Yep. All right. Sorry, I'm getting killed right now. I'm actually getting obliterated. No, I asked you a question, I want to say 25 minutes ago. And
What was the question?
What is your thoughts on like skill curve specifically, and how much, like, as someone who's worked on games, would you be interested in rewarding skill, especially in a game like Marvel Snap, which I think largely wants to be more casual, be more about that two ships passing in the night kind of thing. I feel like they've, in a way that I haven't really perceived, kind of achieved that goal, right? But that balance goal runs straight into the fact that if your opponent has a Voltron on board, you're probably supposed to leave, which means that in some way, the skill of the game is the not playing of it, right? And so when you have a game like this, how much do you want to incentivize that? Like, it seems like an unintended consequence of what I viewed as, like, they've made several statements about like that being their sort of preferred way to balance things. They want things to be like that, but it also means that you never actually get to see your Voltron go off. I never get to fire my arm cannon of Omega Sentinel, Kamehamehas everywhere.
Yeah, I've been baby whining about it, man.
Right.
Like, there are many aspects of Marvel Snap that I like and enjoy, and
you found Delita? Ha! My man. The #1 revolutionary traitor. Oh, God, what a cool character. And I like that they were just like, yeah, you're like a revolutionary, and he's your sellout best friend. It rocks so hard. Oh, what a beast.
He's 3 mana for a 9/9 effectively, and ETB you sack a creature.
That's good flavor. I like it. It's a little basic, but I like it.
He has North Swain Strike. I think this is the thing where you have to like discard a copy of them. They all have like Magic's Grandeur text. And it kills a thing blocking him.
Okay. So yeah,
that's the bullshit common version though. There's like a 6-drop bomb version of him.
Dude, you're telling me a 3 mana 9/9 sacrifice? You're telling me there was like a 7/6 dinosaur that had that text, right? It was like a 2B 7/6 dinosaur. When this attacks, sacrifice a creature or something like that.
Upkeep discard.
Oh man, maybe he does suck. All right, okay, never mind. I don't know, man. 9/9 seems pretty beast mode, but he does unfortunately die to whatever Doomblade is in Final Fantasy, the card game.
Is there a clean removal spell? I feel like it was like -7k was kind of the line.
Oh, and he is bigger than that? He's 9k?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. He can't get dismembered or whatever the spell
anyway
you're talking about is.
Yeah, anyway, I like a lot of the stuff that is involved in Snap, but certainly the game not going to Showdown is kind of bullshit and is maybe the least fun aspect of it. Because any sort of cool thing that you are trying to do, you basically never get to see it happen. And I don't know, even they put like bots in the game, right? But like the bots just retreat on you if you're up, or like they're the cheater bots and they know that you're going to win or whatever. Like, that is so stupid.
Okay, 2 things. First, the bots don't retreat when they know you're going to win. They're just like, here's I'll tell you what's really bothersome about bot retreat mechanics. Here is my theory. The bots are programmed to maximize cubes, right? Like, there are certain bots that are programmed to maximize cubes. And under that programming, one thing they've noticed, I think, this is like my theory of like, not necessarily emergent AI, but like, I think this is the way a computer would be wrong. I think that some of these bots have noticed that when they snap on turn 6, they lose 8 cubes. Or that this is generally like a negative thing because so many players are built to farm them, right? Yeah. I think that they have noticed that, And they understand that their constraint is if they are ahead, they will have to do that. So what they're doing is specifically throwing priority on 5 so they have their own permission to not snap for 8.
I don't know. That's so
I
weird.
believe this with my whole heart.
That's so many extra steps.
It just feels like exactly the way that a computer would be wrong. Like, it's just like, if you told a computer optimize within these constraints, it would absolutely do that. Like, that is absolutely, no human would ever be wrong that way. But a computer could absolutely be wrong that way. That's my bot.
Yeah,
theory.
I get that. I get that. Oh,
Also,
dude, I found some Shadowverse cards. What's up?
Also, manifesto time. Because you fell right into my trap. You fell right into my trap with your baby whining about how games shouldn't go to showdown. Games should go to showdown more. My theory is the way to make them go to showdown more is make every deck a mid-range deck, because then all the games are close. You know when people don't go to showdown is when somebody has comboed off and nothing is happening. That's the factor that creates games that don't go to showdown. Mr. Negative is a factory of games that never go to showdown. I did my thing. You played Mobius. Factory of it. You know what's not a factory of it? Normal deck.
I wait for them to snap. I snap back. I play Mobius. They play Negative.
Yep.
And then they retreat. It's great.
Yep. It's a factory of it. And that's, not every combo deck is as that as Mr. Negative, but especially as they like nerf things like Shang-Chi and Enchantress, these are the cards that are like, those are the showdown tech cards. And I remember only a month or two ago, I was talking about how awesome it was that they were doing that and making the face-up tech cards a little bit more prominent in the game. Stardust, Mobius, Mercury, you're not turn 6ing those a lot of the time, especially Mobius. But if you take that in the context of where we're at, which is, do we want to get more people into Showdown? I think the number one way you want to get more people into Showdown is get rid of all the statics and go back to Shang-Chi's and everything like that, right? Isn't that the way to do it?
Yeah, but I don't think that they have any reason to optimize for that. I mean, like, that is just built into the game engine at this point, whether or not people who are there currently think that it is a good thing or not. It's just one of those things you're kind of stuck with, much like the economy. So what do you do now? I feel like since it is part of the game, I feel like you don't necessarily lean into it, but like you are cognizant of the fact that that exists and is just part of the system. And I don't know, you just kind of have to roll with it and accept it,
I suppose.
But I wouldn't say like, oh, just delete all combo decks and make it mid-range fest, because then, hey, we solved the problem. It goes to showdown, because then the game is boring as shit.
Man, I was hoping I could get you on board with my mid-range manifesto there. We're gonna put it into like a different language so it sounds cooler. I think the manifesto
the
mid-range.
Do the games might be boring when they snap, I play Mobius the same turn they play Negative or whatever, but like for 2 seconds I feel really good about myself.
That is true. Like, is it optimizing for like my heart rate or my general level of interest in playing over a long period? Because if it's optimizing for heart rate spikes, the snap mechanic does a great job of that.
It does do that. Nothing I love more for it's basically check raising, right? I check raise some tourists, they immediately retreat, and it is the most glorious thing ever. And this is the first time I've ever thought about it in that regard. It's just, oh, I have trapped you.
Yeah, what we really need is a mentality shift in the Marvel Snap community to just fall in love with the feeling of snapping. I gotta tell you, I feel like I've gotten way more aggressive as a snapper recently. I don't know exactly when that happened, but I've definitely like started just doing a lot more of that. And I think it's because I need to feel something,
Yeah, it's fun.
Just gotta feel something.
It can be fun.
I just
it
have
can
to,
be fun.
I have to feel something.
I can think of 2 different instances where I just gave away 8 cubes because like I had snapped and they had snapped, and it's just like, I'm invested. I don't know. Like I'm almost certainly dead, but what am I going to do? Retreat like an idiot? Sunk cost fallacy. What's that?
My most recent 8-cube loss was someone's Isan pulled a randomly generated Giganto from Arishem. They had a handful of 3 of 4 cards, counting the Giganto, and they pulled the Giganto to win by like 4 in that lane. I have never. And yes, before anyone asks, yes, they emoted GG afterwards. Yes, like we all.
I was wondering if they came into chat and were like, "Hey, man."
No.
It was really fun.
It's just so fun, dude. Yeah, no, it was.
It's a pleasure playing against you.
That's perhaps the least true sentence anyone's ever said. Do you want to do a little bit of some card reviews? We can look back at the 5 that came out, and then look ahead.
5?
To 5. Yeah,
5 cards come out.
Well, they did previously.
Power Man, Giant Man, Zombie Scarlet Witch, Colonel America. Headpool. Fuck,
Yes,
that is 5. Holy
look at you, dude.
shit.
I'm proud of you. On a theoretically Marvel Snap podcast, you know the names of 5 Marvel Snap cards. You're really ahead of the curve.
No, I've actually played a decent amount, dude. I'm ranked 75. You know, like
Nice.
I'm chilling.
Nice, bro.
I'm chilling.
Hold
up before we get into actual stuff. You know how the running joke was Cedric, whenever he would do a broadcast, was not wearing pants or whatever. He was just like suited up from the waist up.
What do you mean
Did
joke?
you ever hear that?
What joke?
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah, exactly. So have you ever, I was considering like lint rolling my shirt for this podcast. And then I was like,
what if I take it that seriously?
What if I only lint rolled the top half, you know?
I will tell you something. How I am dressed affects how I feel about myself. I have 2 identical pair of shorts right now. I am wearing the blue ones because they match this necklace better. It has like blue inset here. Despite the fact that nobody will see the blue. Nobody knows but me that I have done this. Like,
yeah.
It is.
But you feel good about it.
It is an absolutely insane thing that would ever matter to me. And it did, though. It was the deciding choice between those 2 pairs of shorts, even though after this, what I'm going to do to go to the gym with nobody there is change into the black shorts because they match the top that I'm going to wear to the gym. No, only for me. It's just for me.
Yeah.
This is important.
Have you ever talked to a woman?
No.
Okay. Never mind then.
Yeah. Can you tell me more? I need to learn at the feet of the master.
You know how there's misogynistic things where it's like, oh, honey, you should smile more or whatever, you know, or like, oh, you should wear makeup, or like, oh, you look really pretty today, you know, and it's very oftentimes like women are not doing this to please men, you know, like they are doing this for themselves and to feel pretty, or to feel like, you know, they have accomplished something. They are trying to present a sort of specific image to the world or whatever. Like they have done something today, right?
Yeah.
And that you're doing the same thing. You are looking pretty for nobody but yourself. And that is commendable. That is good. And now you maybe understand women a little better.
It won't matter. I'll never talk to a woman. It's not
aside from the one you live with, but you know.
Well, I feel like that was sort of like, I feel like you just sort of like took the joke I was making and you were like, here's the joke you were making. And I don't really know where to go from here. It's like
that's autism, baby.
Like, yeah.
Remember when I told you that I'm too autistic for jokes? That's why. Sometimes we're trying to joke, right? We're both like, yeah, we're joking, and then you're just like, what the fuck? What the fuck is like, Gerry doing?
And I'm just like, I don't know how to riff off that. I can't figure it out. Like, how do I riff? I don't know what to do.
Me either.
So, like,
it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's my fault. It's my fault.
Now I feel like I'm bullying. You know? Now it's like, now I feel bad because you're like, oh, it's my fault. It's like, oh, I'm like putting you in a urinal and like flushing it. I'm like giving
No,
you a
like,
swirly in
you're
like a
QB
linoleum toilet.
you're
at a high
QBing,
school.
right? I'm Jerry Rice. I just caught like a I don't know 80-yarder or whatever, and then I just turn around, look at you, and drop the ball, and you're like, "What the hell?"
Wait, that actually happened 2 consecutive weeks in the NFL recently.
They turned around, made eye contact, and then
No,
just
but
dropped
like
it.
they were running to the end zone. They're so free and clear. And if you drop the ball before you cross the plane, it's not a touchdown. And 2 weeks in a row, someone did that. Like they were like, I'm gonna celebrate. I'm gonna like, I'm just like.
I was thinking like, oh, I'm running, catch the ball, and then I stop, turn around, look at you, drop the ball, and just stand there like I don't know what I'm supposed to do now.
Functionally, the same level of damaging, honestly.
Yeah,
because at least with yours, someone on your team, actually, yours is probably less damaging. Because at least with yours, someone on your team could theoretically recover that. If the ball gets fumbled out of the back of the end zone, it's an automatic change of possession. The ball goes to the other team and they get it on like the 25. Like there's actually no recourse. So what you have devised, your worst possible play is worse than something that happened. It is actually slightly better for the team that is experiencing it.
Yeah. Well, I'll work on my I don't know how to purposely fumble. I feel like I'm fumbling how to fumble at the moment.
That's so sick, dude. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
I don't want to give you a swirly. Have you ever given or received a swirly, or are they like an urban myth? I don't even think I've ever experienced the concept of one except in media.
Yeah, I've never seen that happen or heard of it happening.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Because dude, my high school, like 10 years out of high school, there was a newspaper article that came out where our high school hockey team got in very serious trouble, and I would hope so. Probably not as much trouble as they should have gotten into, honestly, because they were hazing by sodomizing kids with hockey sticks.
It's crazy the shit you could get away with in whatever year you were in high school. I'm gonna guess 1977.
That's close.
Just a really different world, back in the 70s.
Far out, man.
Card review time. We should actually do that. Yeah.
Headpool stinks. Some
wrong.
People played against me. I never played with it, and it did nothing. Okay.
Dead wrong. That's actually the only good one. Headpool's the only good card. That guy's seriously awesome. Destroy I
think Power Man's good.
Maybe.
I think the decks it is in are maybe not good, but like that card is, and someday there is going to be a deck where that card is.
Yeah, premium. I can see it. I don't know. Headpool, I love him. He's the third best 1-drop in Destroy, but I've been playing him in like Moon Girl type stuff with like Death and Victoria hand and Moira X and Buddy. He's a beast. He rocks.
Okay.
If you can get to 2 Headpools, it's goated. I'm like
triple list.
It's on my Twitter, dog. You just haven't been following me. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
I still follow you. I just don't click on the application.
On Twitter, right? Yeah. I'm like 40-20 with it right now.
That's awful. I'll try and get those numbers up.
It's just very solid. I will say, whenever I check the stats on it on Untapped, everyone else is doing really terrible with it.
You ever search for KMBest and
did you get Catherine?
Yeah. No, you typo. I typed in KMBest,
what comes up?
There's a dude, Corey Vest.
Oh, cool. I did a KMBest cosplay once. It was me as Legion, shirtless, wearing a vest. So I was KMBest at the time. Don't show Corey on this. Don't go. What's wrong with you?
He's tweeting about Ron Paul's Iowa victory. It's great.
Damn, that was in 2008.
Yeah, he doesn't tweet very much.
Man, Corey, I'm proud of you for logging off Twitter. Good call, buddy.
Well, no, he almost certainly just made a sock account, and all the tweeting goes from there.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, it says something about, demographics of early Twitter, I suppose. Anyway, Headpool's goated. That card is exactly what a card is supposed to be. Just slam dunk, home run. They should make a million more Headpools. I'm effectively playing Morgan Le Fay, but the deck is good instead of bad. It's sick as hell.
Oh, that does sound sick.
Yeah, it's like, imagine if Morgan Le Fay was a good deck. That's what this is.
V-Head. Got him.
I thought for a second you were still reading Corey's tweets.
Corey Vest. Corey M. Vest.
That's just like such a, like, I don't want to.
That's classic Corey's, you know?
Oh, man. It's such like a name I made up. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know the Family Guy bit where he's like making up a name from the environment, a la the end of The Usual Suspects? Spoilers for The Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
And he sees a P and then a tear falling from someone's eye and then a griffin, and his fake name is P Tier Griffin. That's me doing Corey Vest. It's just like I'm looking over at a sign that says Core and a vest, and I'm like, that's my name. Like that's sort of the vibe I get off of that.
Shout out Corey Vest.
Shout out Corey Vest. You think we're gonna have to apologize? Do you think he's gonna contact us?
Probably, dude. I typoed. My bad.
Yeah, you fucked up, man.
I don't know. Corey sounds cool. I should do a podcast with him.
It's so true, dude. I'm gonna start telling people that's my name. I think that would be a funny idea. Like what you've really discovered is that is actually me.
You're really gonna get sued.
I think we should probably go back to a Marvel Snap card. You said you thought Power Man was actually good.
I think the card itself is not weak. The issue is the surrounding stuff. Like that, the output for it, if there are things that you want to discard turn over turn, and like that is the makeup of your deck, there is almost no better enabler for doing that kind of thing. The problem is that you don't really have that many cards currently, and it's asking you to play with like Colonel America, and it's like, okay, well, if I play Power Man on 2, hopefully there is a card I want to discard on the left, and if the like Colonel is on the left, then you have to like wait a turn to play the Power Man, and then that means the Colonel's getting like 2 less procs potentially, and it's super bad. But like, what if your deck was all just like Swarms and Proximas and Conchus and stuff, you know?
I think Conchu is the one that sticks out as like, this is actually what makes this deck function, because Conchu in himself is eating a discard, and then he's also making your discards less shit by like bringing back whatever it was you discarded. So Power Man Conchu is something I've got my eye on in the background, because I also sort of secretly think that I want to be doing a deck where all of the cards are discardable, and Conchu and Zombie Galacti. That's because like,
sure.
Like Zombie Galacti is clearly asking you to be like a Magic Shuri deck, and I think that's just gonna suck. So I want to just cheat it with a Conchu, and I can imagine Zombie Power Man being a good way to do that.
But like, here's the thing though, is like, if you are doing the Power Man Conchu thing, do you need your thing to be Galacti? No. Sorry. Like, couldn't the Galacti just be a goddamn blade or whatever? You know, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it could. I think that there's a pretty reasonable chance that my day one Zombie Galacti deck is just jamming it into a normal discard deck and being like, what's up? I'm a genius. Also, here's a question. How does Zombie Galacti work with a face down Malekith card that has been marked by it?
It has been marked, but is not going to transform, would be my guess.
It occurs to me as like, if my goal is just get as many cards on the board as I can before Zombie Galacti, like that seems like a thing that I might want to investigate. I have no idea.
It's end of game, right? So like in theory, you could Malekith, then Supergiant, then Galacti.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, you're right. I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like there is a way around it potentially. Okay, you want to hear how smart I am? So
Sure.
I haven't spent a lot of time in this room. Mostly, I got this chair. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. It's a throne. Okay, and me and my 3 cats just sit on this chair, and I do work or play games or whatever, and just sit in front of my 70-inch TV. And so I've been sitting in there a lot, and I have this fridge next to my PC, but because I haven't been in here, because this chair sucks ass, only fits like 1.5 cats, is not super comfortable. I haven't really filled up this fridge, and I just ran out of beverages, and I was like, well, I don't want to get up in the middle of a podcast again. I already did it once.
Yeah, not only did you already do it once, you spent 20 minutes off screen looking at Final Fantasy cards.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I wonder if there's anything in my fridge. Not only was there a thing in my fridge, there was a Juneberry Red Bull that I thought I was out of. So, brother, it's Christmas. It's Christmas Day.
I have never had a Juneberry Red Bull, nor will I. I strongly suspect that I will not have that. I prefer to consume my caffeine in the form of unregulated pre-workout supplements and pills that start to dissolve in your mouth before you can even get the water in there, making your whole mouth taste bitter. That is how I take caffeine, like a real man. I also steal coffee K-Pods from my girlfriend.
Okay, that's legit. Do you like berry flavored things? Because I do.
I can't say that I do, really. I like this.
I
is such a boring ass thing to say, but I love water. If there was just such a thing as coffee water,
berries. I don't like berries, but coffee water. You mean like tea?
I was drinking a lot of tea for a while. Yeah, it's just like there's not I don't have a thing that I can press a button with to make tea. I have to like actually make tea. And so that's really like put a hamper on the tea drinking is that there's not like a button.
For real. I went through a thing where I went to one of the bullshit like Teavanas in the mall or whatever. I tried to learn about tea. I got a kit, and then I was just like, I ain't doing all this shit.
Yeah.
And tea is not bad. I have tea in my name, like, come on. Wow. Now here's the question. Did I make up the Teavana bit?
You didn't. Make that joke, you know how I know?
Just to sell it?
You know how I know you didn't make it up?
Too autistic for jokes?
You've told that story on the podcast before.
I really don't think so.
You absolutely have. Not only that, I remember a specific comment on that podcast advising me to get an electric kettle from Lauren Whatevs because this exact thing came up, this exact complaint. And I think this really teaches you a lot about me, that even if the solution is in front of me, I will not do it. I will instead continue to do the thing that gives me acid reflux, which is drink coffee. It is easier. But no, tea.
It is way easier. Or just find a delicious Red Bull in a fridge you thought you abandoned.
That sounds like the number one path to acid reflux is I would imagine that it's a lot easier to have acid reflux when you're just drinking acid.
Yeah, by a lot.
I would imagine
you are correct.
You are putting down what comes up later. Like you are just drinking stomach acid, basically. It's very caffeinated and berry flavored.
Yeah, but they call it taurine.
The more a Red Bull
so it sounds holistic.
The more a Red Bull tastes like battery. You think taurine sounds holistic?
Yeah.
Dude, it's like the root word for bull. What about that sounds holistic? It sounds like the kind of thing they would make up to sell me pre-workout.
Exactly.
That's not holistic. It's like whatever the opposite of that is.
No, that is the same thing in my mind. It's like, oh, these like natural supplements.
But taurine is like explicitly, it's like, this is not natural. It's like the thing in bull penis. It'll give you a bull penis. Like that's the vibe that it is. It's not like, like Whole Foods type shit. It's like, you're going to inject me with chemicals that make me into a bull.
I don't know, man. I see the commercials and they don't say anything about bull dicks. I probably would not be
They
as
named
on
it
Red Bull.
taurine. Like, come on.
See, I thought it was a natural occurring thing. I thought that
it naturally
maybe they
occurs
named
in
it
bull
Red Bull.
testicles.
Oh, okay.
It's essence of bull testicles. You know, it's
I don't know what to believe anymore.
The modern version of like those ancient medicines where it's like we must increase our virility by eating the testicles of this animal. That's the implication of taurine to me. That's how I interpret it.
That sounds holistic to me.
All right, you know what? Point proven. You nailed it.
Yeah.
It's actually just natural medicine. That's what Red Bull is. It's natural medicine that just happens to dissolve your stomach lining. Like it just does that by accident.
It's from the earth. It's got to be healthy.
By the way, did you know? I learned this recently. There are several different Chinese like natural remedies or like herbal remedies that are just like poop.
I did not know that.
Like of various kinds.
Do they work? Do they work?
Presumably. I mean, but like they used to sell the emperor's poop for its believed medical uses.
Yeah, but that's like, I don't know. Now, whenever I think of any sort of monarchy or whatever,
right,
I just think of how like comical shit like the British monarchy is. Now we're probably gonna get sued by them, but whatever. And no, you don't think so?
I think if we were there, maybe. But
Yeah.
we're in free speech land. We could say this.
Okay.
Hating on the British is protected speech.
See, I did not know that was true, and I'm glad that is confirmed. But it's one of those things that I wish would be true, or I hope would be true. Anyway,
it's like the founding of our country. How could we not? It's like in our blood.
But there's a lot of things also that are involved in the founding of our country that are not great.
It's true. This is the one that we can take into the modern age and not feel terrible about,
So it's like, yeah, well, it's also one of those things where it's like it comes around full circle. Like maybe it was not bad back then, and much like everything else that they did in terms of just, killing off natives and slavery and all those fun things. Like that was also a backwards thing at the time, but maybe it has come full circle. And it's like, now this is actually true and good. And it's a good thing.
Anyway, continue.
Anyway, yeah, they suck. And it's like, I don't want any emperor's poop, that ain't good for nothing.
Ooh, can I do like a bit about history here? Can I do like my KMBest special interest bit here?
I can't stop you. I can start looking through more Final Fantasy cards,
So the word emperor, it has like a very specific connotation in sort of like Christianity, because the Romans had the Roman emperor, and as Rome became Christianized, it took on this sort of like they took the old imperial cult where like basically every emperor since Julius Caesar, who is not really regarded as an emperor, Augustus is regarded as the first one, they were all deified. They were gods, right? So they like ex post facto usually, but at a certain point they just stopped even doing this, and like the emperor was a god and you would worship the emperor, right? Once the empire became Christianized, the empire, they had to like figure out how to make that make sense. Because once you're a Christian, you can't have like the emperor being a god. It's ridiculous. So they sort of rolled it into Christianity, and the emperor was Christ's regent on earth. The physical manifestation of godly will.
It was Galactus's herald.
Yes, actually. And like this created all sorts of problems for future Christians because, well, there were a bunch of other guys that were like, hey, I'm an emperor too. And so for like about 600 years, the Germans and the Holy Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantines, argued about which one of them was legitimately able to call themselves emperor, because it meant claiming divine authority in a way. It was first among the monarchs, effectively. And there are letters.
But like that could be a regional thing,
No, it
like
can't. Like that's the whole thing. It literally can't. By definition, both of them, like the function of an empire is one Like we literally believe we have claim to the entire world because I'm God's regent on earth. I own the world. How could it be any other way? And so, like, they were totally unwilling to accept the idea that it could be regional or that the title could mean anything other than king of the world, rightful king of the world.
Yeah, but like you call yourself, Emperor of Rome or whatever, and it's like, well, you're not out here trying to rule, China or whatever, right? Like, you understand that you're located in this very specific place.
They literally did not understand that. It was temporal, right? Temporarily, we don't rule China, but like,
yeah, I understand that I understand that there were aspirations to like invade, conquer, whatever, but like, they weren't passing laws and then like going over into China and arresting people for like not adhering to their laws.
That did not seem to matter. Like, whether or not they had the temporal ability to enforce their will was totally irrelevant to this conversation. It was literally just like, we are the rightful people who are this. Full stop. It actually, like, the temporal ability to enforce the will is actually why the Holy Roman Empire, it was called that, because the Byzantines lost the temporal ability to enforce their will in Italy. They lost control of Italy, and so Charlemagne came down and was like, what's up? I'm the Roman Empire now.
It's really silly to me to be like, oh, we're the Holy Roman Empire, when like you are then also trying to say that like you are the ruler of the planet, perhaps the galaxy.
What the Roman Empire means. The Roman Emperor is Christ's regent on earth. That's the whole point. He's the only emperor.
This was Roman in reference to Rome, the place, right?
Yeah. But because it got so tied up in Christianity and like the previously existing imperial cult got sort of rolled into Christian doctrine. And so that's how you have this.
Yeah, okay, but it's a branding thing that is frustrating to me. So for example, there was a company back in the day that sponsored me, MTG Chicago.
Okay.
And so we wore these like MTG Chicago shirts for like a year. Company went bust. Not surprising. Many such cases. But the branding for that is twofold bad, where A, you may expand outside of the city of Chicago. And B, you may expand outside of MTG. Right? Like, what if you start selling Pokemon cards? Oh yeah, go get Pokemon cards at MTG Chicago. No, that's stupid. And so the Holy Roman Empire, you're trying to tell me like, oh, it's the planet? Is the planet called Rome? It's not.
The Roman Empire encompasses the world, or should encompass the world, or it's again, like, you're trying to like argue branding with religious people, right? Like, this is a religious conviction, right? And it's
but a lot of their
have
stuff
many critiques of their branding.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying, is a lot of their stuff is like messaging and the efficacy of it, right? Sure. And so you're like, oh, the Holy Roman Empire is the only one that matters, and it's like, well, why does that matter when, I grew up in China and you're saying that like, oh, Rome is better than my place? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. If you're saying like the Holy Earth Empire or something, it's like, okay, maybe I could believe you.
No, the Holy Roman Empire. And then if you say that and you're like the Chinese people, what we're going to do is we're going to kill you. Like, that's how they did it, right? Like, that was their methodology. Like, you say, oh, I don't recognize the sovereignty of Rome. It's time to invade you. Like, that was the idea, basically. You're talking you're talking branding with an imperial ideology. And it's like, well, I don't think you're really worried about convincing people. Like,
well, I mean, it's not nothing. You might have missed it, but after an hour, my cat finally jumped down from up top.
From the ceiling? Yeah. Anyway, this has been your KMBest moment of, like, it is actually insane to read all of this stuff and, like, realize that, like, words we use today to mean guy in charge of more than one country. Like, that's how most people interpret the word emperor, right? But it came from the Latin imperator, which referred to being a conquering field general. It was one of the titles awarded to Augustus, and it became the sort of imperial title. Imperial as a word also comes from the same root, Rome word for, I guess you'd probably translate it as like power, imperium. And all of that is to say, I guess I just never knew that this was that big a deal. But basically, in like for about probably 1400 years, people would get butchered over having like two different words in their prayer. Like, there would be like full scale wars about two different words in the prayer. And that's just like how people lived. That was just like the normal, the done thing that you would do is, man, I don't trust them. They think that the Holy Spirit proceeds from God the Father and God the Son. I can't sit with that. And therefore, we cannot be part of the same church.
I play Bishop instead of Sage in my bounce deck.
Yes,
that's it.
And now we literally have to go to war about it.
Yeah.
That is a lot of like history, it seems. It's just like, we're going to argue over the meaning of two words, and then we're going to fight about it. We're going to send hundreds of thousands of people to die about this. It's incredibly important that we do this.
Dude, people were bored. It's the same thing with the hockey sticks.
God, I don't know. Other cards, where were we? Zombie Power Man? Is that, how did we get from Zombie Power Man to this?
Something about the Emperor. I don't know.
Okay.
Zombie Power Man, powerful card. Maybe not great at the moment. His day will come. Colonel America, powerful card. Day will probably not come, just by, I think, the fact that it has to sit in your hand until you play it, but it's like also telling you to kind of like discard with Reckless Abandon on the first few turns, which, I don't know, sometimes like that guy is going to get in the way of things.
Can we talk about like just how mid like the last 4 months of cards have been? It's just been like, you want me to spend 6,000 tokens on what? Like, it feels like it's been like this constant thing. Like, you want me to spend 6,000 tokens on this card that's cool, but has a 46% win rate? Oh, cool. It's the next week. You want me to spend this with 6,000 tokens on this card that's cool, but has a 45% win rate? Wow.
So is the solution to buff these cards, different designs, or nerf old cards that have kind of a stranglehold on stuff?
I would say 1 and 3. The designs are awesome. Like, they've done some cool ass cards. But to me, I would say it's a power level concern if you want someone to be able to play a card profitably. You got to buy it. Or if you want someone to buy something, they got to be able to play it profitably. I got that exactly backwards.
What if I'm dumb and just buy it anyway?
Well, then they don't have to win anything from you. You're baked in. You're good. You don't need to do anything. You're chilling, dog. It's all
I really have to get a t-shirt that says Friendly Whale on it. I want that so badly.
The problem is if you go Google it, I bet you'll find it, but it'll be like AI made.
Yeah, I looked a while ago, like before AI was really popping off or whatever, and I couldn't really find anything. It is really a shame where sometimes there is a market where you're just like, oh, I am this individual and no one is making stuff for me, right?
Yeah.
And that's why Cedric made his MTG t-shirt company.
I've replaced Gerry with a picture of his cat who was on the ceiling next to what appears to be the world's weirdest extension cord location that I've ever seen.
That's my internet, dog.
Why
doesn't your internet come out of your ceiling?
Right.
And also
it's
your basement.
Yes.
Yep.
I
you
set
explain
this up.
it.
As the landlord, what I did there was to remind you that you are beneath me, right? Like that is, I want you to look at your lifeblood every day and think, he could turn this tap off in the middle of my 10,000 gem Magic the Gathering online tournament. I could lose a Final Fantasy box. Look up there, you pray. Symbolism.
Yeah, or I could also strangle myself with the cord. It's always there.
Yeah, I mean that's always an option. You know, it's the cloning process isn't cheap, so we'd prefer you didn't.
I also just watched Mickey 17, so now I have like a new perspective on my life.
I have never seen that movie, but I'm guessing that what it's about is what we do to you in the basement.
Yes,
Okay.
it is that.
Okay. I rewatched Spaceballs the other day, and I noticed a joke that I'd never gotten, which is when Spaceball 1 is approaching them, Barf, John Candy's character. Have you never seen Spaceballs?
No, I have no idea what you're talking
What?
about. I know of it. I know,
fuck?
dude, I don't like comedies.
Okay, well, anyway.
Like John Candy? You kidding me? No thanks. I'm good.
You know, of all the things you've said on this podcast today, perhaps that is the most cancelable opinion you've ever had.
No hate, you know? But like,
how do you not like John Candy?
I don't like Will Ferrell.
That's fine. You know? You're allowed to not like Will Ferrell, but John Candy?
Seth Rogen?
Totally fine not to like that. John Candy? Like
Jim Carrey? I don't know.
That's a weird one. Yeah, no, that's definitely a weird one. That's odd. I will say that's a little odd. It's just like I
totally felt like that one was normal. Adam Sandler? How about that?
Very normal. Probably the most normal opinion you can have.
Okay.
It's not like Adam Sandler. Like that's a very normal thing. It sucks that he's sort of like I guess maybe after Uncut Gems, it's maybe not as normal of an opinion. But yeah, like it's totally normal to be like, yeah, Adam Sandler comedies, those aren't for me. They're for 13-year-old boys. It's like, yeah, whatever. Spaceballs. Anyway, there's a gag where they call like a Star Destroyer type thing the Bad Year Blimp. And I've watched that movie for probably 20 years of my life. I never got the joke.
The Goodyear blimp?
Yes. It's just like a very stupid ass joke. I had never gotten it. I had subtitles on for maybe the first time ever, and I was like, oh, that's what he's saying. And anyway, that's my new Snap name, the Bad Year Blimp. I think it's just a dope ass name. If I ever start wrestling, that's what I'm gonna call myself, the Bad Year Blimp. I think it's sick as hell. And so it gets Bad Year Blimp combo with Blob Face. That's what I'm doing. It wasn't intended to be a fat joke, but it became a fat joke because that is one of my favorite avatars.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. This is all to say, remember when like a new card would come out and it would be busted as hell? Remember Blob? Remember that?
I do remember Blob. I remember Loki. Remember Mobius and Elsa. And
yeah.
I don't remember Kitty because
that was dope.
I was not playing then, but it looked fun from the outside.
It was super fun. There were 2 days of that card where I was like, this is my favorite card that's ever been printed. And then they came back and they made her worse. And she was still like my favorite card that's ever been printed. She rocks. My girl.
Yeah, but then she also like broke the game and had to get deleted for a while.
Yeah, I mean, some people just can't handle a strong, confident Jewish woman, you know?
That's true. That's true.
It's it's a shame that the world can't do that, and but it is what it is, I suppose. It is what it is.
Yep. Damn shame. Maybe one of these days, you know.
Yep. You want to talk about the card Zombie Colonel America anymore before we move on?
I wish that there were these cards that could be discard payoffs that weren't at risk of getting discarded by your enablers, you know?
Isn't that a little too free? Like that's just bad design, right? Like if I
no,
it's the equivalent of
but it's to the point where it's like feels bad a lot of the time. Or like how MODOK is so powerful in these decks, but is a liability with Zombie Power Man. Like there are just a lot of games where, because I had this quest where it was like, you know, win 2 games with Colonel America and it took me 13 hours to do. And man, I played a lot of games with various shells of this stuff. And you play Zombie Power Man on 2, and it is very likely that you will discard your MODOK wherever it is in your hand before you ever get to play it, you know? And it's just like, this is just kind of frustrating.
Yeah, but I think if you got rid of that frustration entirely, what you'd have is a purely frictionless experience.
I'm not looking for frictionless, but when you give me the best discard enabler of all time, but you have to cut it basically, or it's like specifically also like here's Zombie Power Man and Colonel America the same week, right? And it's really difficult to make those work. And MODOK is still one of your best cards. It's like, oh, I really want to do this thing, and then none of it is really workable. It's kind of frustrating. And it's like you can do it, but it's mostly worse than what Bullseye is doing.
Speaking
so
of,
it's like, oh, I should just do Bullseye stuff.
Speaking of both Kitty Pryde and, oh, I'd really like to do this thing, but it's unworkable, Zombie Giant Man, Zombie Scarlet Witch, mid.
Yeah, but I think that was kind of to be expected, right?
I think they're a little worse than I thought they would be, to be honest with you.
Oh.
Like,
they're
not just mid, they're like,
I
was expecting the zombie archetype to be solid. And what it runs into...
3 more cards to come out.
Yeah, but 2 of them suck. And granted, Zombie Mr. Fantastic is good, but like 2 of them are just like, I don't think that's going to make a big deal for the archetype. Like...
I think both do if you are trying to do Giant Man stuff.
Right, but I think he's like fundamentally unworkable. So I'm already off just like the idea of him. We talked about this last time where you're like, what's the best thing you do with him? It's like Absorbing Man, Grandmaster. I'm just like, nope, I'm out. I'm not doing that. I'm playing Juggernaut instead. I'm totally out, right? So for me, I just don't think there's a path forward for this archetype in a meaningful way that involves the current iterations of these cards, unless Zombie Mr. Fantastic is like actually that good. Because I could totally see a world where I do Scarlet Witch Mr. Fantastic. But what's interesting about the zombie archetype is without Zombie Power Man, you don't actually get payoff for playing these cards together, which is weird, right?
Right, that's the point.
Yeah, it's just
I think you are supposed to play them together, and you're looking at Zombie Scarlet Witch expecting more when I'm like, I'm fine waiting because it is clear that we don't have the full package. We don't even have half the package.
I agree, which makes the decision to release Power Man this early very weird. Because while Zombie Scarlet Witch is like, all right, I get it. This is kind of interesting.
Man,
it's like pretty solid.
Right?
Yeah, Giant Man. I do mean Giant Man. But yeah, I don't know what's up with Zombie Scarlet Witch in the current context. I think she's like maybe mildly better than Elsa Bloodstone. I say maybe because Elsa's got better Mysterio synergy. I think the thing that she does that's better than Elsa Bloodstone is largely just related to having one big unit in a lane. And I think that it's kind of notable to me that the metagame moved pretty harshly against the kind of decks that would want to play her at about the same time as she came out. So it's possible that I'm overreacting on how bad she is. But she's got basically nothing for the combo Invisible Woman decks. She's got basically nothing for the Supergiant decks. In fact, they're actively good against her. And she's weirdly got basically nothing for any deck playing Killmonger, which is also pretty common, because if they throw priority and blow up your Kitty Pryde and your Hydra Bob, you feel really, really stupid. And frankly, a lot of the Destroy decks are just going to outpower you anyway. And so she released into a metagame that was very hostile when, weirdly, the metagame only a week before Jocasta came out was actually a pretty good metagame for her. And so I think it's possible that people are underrating her in a general sense because she released in a bad meta as a pretty underpowered card and without the rest of her package. But I still think she's probably a little too weak.
Yeah, I think that's entirely possible. But again, it's like, do you just want to juice every new package to subsume the last thing? It's like, oh, let's release Invisible Woman. Okay, that's cracked. Well, now we got to make a new thing that is better than that, and it's just this silly arms race.
Nerf Invisible Woman, right? Like,
yeah,
it's like that's a 3/5. You can just be like, all right, well, it's not a 3/5 anymore, right? Like, you can do a lot of stuff, right? Like, it's not cards that are on my radar for just like, yeah, you probably have to deal with that at some point. Invisible Woman, Prodigy. It's like, all right, chill, bro. Moon Girl buff, kind of wild. Like, it's like, maybe got to deal with that. One thing that if I were in the driver's seat for Snap is I'd be looking really hard at all these force multipliers. I'd be looking at Moon Girl, I'd be looking at Frigga, yes. I'd be looking at Prodigy, and I'd be looking at Invisible Woman, and I'd be like, maybe we just take a point off of all of you guys. Like, maybe just make it a little less free. Put a little more effort into duplicating your shit, all right? And I think at this point, the community has gained the understanding that this stuff is good. And taking those points off would not be super meaningful. I propose effectively what they did for the imbalance patch for tech cards, but for everything that copies shit.
Yeah.
That's my pitch.
I think that a lot of that is reasonable. I also think that you could do more there where like maybe I don't know, like Frigga and Prodigy are kind of similar. Indeed. And I could see one of them being like 4 cost reasonable stats or something, you know?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. There's probably more that can be done there. I totally buy that. I'm thinking about that. Like, I think I would rather that card be Frigga, because I think if you do that to Prodigy, it becomes like very unwieldy.
Yeah, it's really clunky at that point.
Yeah, it's probably like if you're gonna do that, it would probably be to Frigga. And yeah, like just like, you know, take a point off Invisible Woman. It's fine. You can do that. I don't even think she's busted. It's just like you might as well. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think the game is more fun when, like, for example, you know, Toxin, Beast, Falcon are all at 2 costs, and it's like, well, that's kind of silly. Because they all do different things, and you could dirty them up a little bit.
But sure.
No, I know. But I'm saying now Beast is 3.
Yes.
And okay. I think this world is a happier place.
Yes,
because
I agree.
Very, very occasionally you see decks that are like, okay, you know, I'll play a Beast, but not the others or whatever, right?
Yeah, I was worried for a second. I was like, damn, Jerry's really not played this game. Like, damn.
No, like Bounce is one of the more recent decks I've played.
Okay.
And also, like 2/2 Beast dying.
Yeah.
Like I felt that. I was mourning for a while. Came back, died again.
Yep.
I had to relive that. It's again, everything good in life ends.
So true. You should have said that. Like, we should end the podcast on that, but we still have to talk about stuff, I think. Actually, what if we just ended the podcast on that anyway?
I said everything good.